Villawood Properties, premier partner of the Rippetwood Football Netball Club.
Welcome to episode 14 of The Tank. My name's Dylan Podolczak. We'll be hosting the show tonight. On tonight's show, we'll review all the results from the weekend's clash with Lancefield and catch up with star forward Todd Podolczak. We'll also touch base with one of the reserves players, Luke Kukuljan, and have a chat to him. And following that will be a talk with Chambo with their senior debutants from the weekend, Alex Misiti and Frantti-Glen. 60 seconds with Feats returns as we bring you up to date with all the goings around at the club. And looking forward to reverse raffle this week after the clash against the Centrals. $8,000 up for grabs. Happy days. Okay, it's on with the show.
Round 14, Rippetwood 22-21, defeated Lancefield 3-5. Todd Podolczak with 8, Luke Kukuljan with 5. Todd Podolczak best of field. In the reserves, Rippetwood 24-17 defeated Lancefield Donuts with 5 goals. Eddie Whelan and Dylan Dremel best of field sees Rippetwood consolidate 4th position. And in the under-19s, Rippetwood 12-6-78 defeated Broadford 6-6-42 with Jackson Pronouncus in the goals and best of field. The boys sitting second on the table.
Rightio, here we are with senior coach for the day, Brett Chambers. Chambo, how did you see the day, mate?
Not too bad. Pretty strong victory in the end, so we can't complain too much. Still little bits of pieces to work on, but having 2 debutants and seeing them both play some good passages of football were really good. Good to see Connor manage to snag a goal at the end, and he was very solid down back all game, and Al Misiti done some really good things leading up and some great pressure. We saw him get a couple of smothers on and set up Connor's goal as well. So it's brilliant to see those blokes get their first taste of senior footy, and to welcome back Boober. Obviously, he's finally get the captain back in, is always a good thing.
Absolutely. The boys were, as you say, waxing down there in the end, Connor and Al.
Yeah, I don't think they could decide who actually wanted to kick the final goal there. Connor back to Alex, back to Connor again. I think Connor was half trying to get it back to Alex for a 4th time, but finally one of them decided they had to get it on the boot.
Yeah, but a solid win in the end of the day, and as you say, good to see Boober back, and we've got another couple of guys coming back the next couple of weeks, so season hopefully starting to shape up nicely.
Yeah, should be going pretty well now. Next, we can get a win next week. Pretty good chance for the top 2 spot, barring a massive disaster, I think, depending on other results. But yeah, when we've had a fair few injuries, and to be sitting on top with a couple of rounds to go and starting to actually get your team back to a bit of strength with the key players coming back in, we can't complain too much.
Awesome. No worries. Chambo, thanks for your time, mate.
Debutants playing their first game of senior footy groups of footy club. Pleasure to have 2 life members to come down and present those jumpers to them. First off is Kevin Quinn.
Thanks, Nick. Guys, it's an absolute pleasure to be able to present a debutant with their jumpers for their first game. And that's first Connor. What we know with Connor, he's come down from Hill last year. He's playing under 19s and doing a great job there. But listen, all the best with it. We've got a great team to be breaking into, and not a bad time of the year to be able to stand up and say, hey, I'm ready to see the footy. So all the very best, and we're very proud of the progress we're making. Wherever that goes, hopefully we'll do both. Thank you.
Just to reiterate what Kev said, it's always great to come up through the ranks and get an opportunity to see the footy. Alex Misiti, first game today, mate. Congratulations. Always say you've been in really good form, mate, so just take that in today, enjoy the day, and yeah, the boys will get around you, mate, so just have a real crack and enjoy it.
In the netball, A grade, Riddles Creek 62 defeated second place Riverwood 50. Shannon Blackman, Amy Starzer and Ailish McCormick adjudged best on court. Whilst in the B grade, Riverwood 56 defeated Lancefield 38 with Emily Katona, Matilda Elliott and Georgia Basesio best on court. In the C grade, again, Riverwood 38 defeated Lancefield 15. Best players, Beck Purcell, Holly Bates and Katie Castle. And in the under-19s, Rupertwood 67 defeated Lansfield 6. Best players were Emily Katona, Naeem Varland and Charlotte Bates. A grade currently sits second on the ladder, B grade on top of the ladder, C grade in second position and under-19s sitting proudly on top of the ladder.
Rightio, we're here with the senior debutantes, Frantti-Glen and Alex Misiti. Great day, boys. How'd you find it, boys?
It's grouse, honestly. Nice fast-paced footy. The delivery's beautiful and yeah, it's grouse. Love it.
Yeah, definitely a lot quicker than under 19s and a bit less time to have it because you get crunched, but it's good. Good step up.
A bit more physical,
Yeah,
hit a bit harder, a little bit faster.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, a great day to experiment and find out where you were. I think, yeah.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good starting point. Put a good few touches, both of us. And
I think Connor, you had one at the first 10 seconds of the game. Fantastic.
Yeah, it was a lucky one, but
And burnt me in the middle, mate.
yeah.
And then I see you blokes waxing up the other end in the last quarter, handing off and goal to Connor. Fantastic work.
Beautiful.
Hand to the man under pressure.
It's brilliant. No, it's fantastic to see you guys. You both handled yourself bloody brilliantly. I see a fantastic future for both of you guys. Our club's in good hands with fellas like you coming through. Thanks, boys. Well done.
Thanks, Rod.
Go on, you boys.
Morfab Engineering, Platinum Partner of the Rupertwood Football Netball Club.
Toffler, welcome to the show, mate.
Thanks, mate.
First of all, great game by you on Saturday. Just give us an insight from your point of view into your 8 snags and your 53 goals for the year to date.
Yeah, it's good to kick the goals, but it's more coming from the midfield. The midfielders are getting the ball down pretty quick and pretty dangerous, so anyone can kick goals down there when it's coming down that good.
Oh, yes. Obviously, with the midfield delivery, that's the best.
That's the one, mate.
Now, getting a bit personal here, so with your lifestyle, mate, what do you do for a living or study?
I'm an excavator operator for a plumbing mob.
So that means you do stuff all, really?
Yeah, pretty much.
Just swing a few levers around?
Yeah, move some dirt here and there.
Track a few kilometres?
Yeah, that's it.
That's it? Fair enough. Your nickname, obviously, we've talked about this before. Everyone knows it around the club. Your nickname Snags, who gave it to you and why?
I think all the boys did, mate.
Really?
It wasn't self-proclaimed, no.
So in the second episode of the Tank, it wasn't self-proclaimed?
Yeah, it probably was though, yeah.
So it was? Yeah, fair enough. There you go. Now, pre-game ritual, I sort of know it, but I don't know. Do you have a pre-game ritual?
Yeah, me, you, or when you're playing, boobs, usually get in a subway between 10 and 11, have a subway, come down here. Power road.
Anything else just leading up to the game?
Nah.
Before you do?
No, just a power road, mate.
Oh, okay, fair enough. What's different? No. Now, give us 3 words to describe yourself, mate.
Going very bald.
Going very bald?
Yep.
Yeah, that's a statement. Now, before you go, mate, I know Footy Chip's not far away. Obviously booking accommodation already, got the flights going. Now, with your roommate, who would you least like to be in your room?
Probably Nash, because he dropped some serious bombs in the morning.
Some bombs?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm going to
Tall
count that.
bombs, yeah.
Fair enough. Well, thanks for your time, mate.
No
Appreciate
worries.
it.
Thanks, mate.
Welcome to 60 Seconds with Feet, back after a few weeks off. Got my guest here, Lachlan Muir. How you going?
Well,
Very well, that's good. We'll get into it. What do you do for a job?
I'm a podiatrist.
Podiatrist?
Yeah, started playing doctor.
Yeah? The club doctor around here?
Yeah, the club doctor around here. All legal.
Yeah, you run the joint? That's
Yep.
good. Question is, what's your Rupo career highlight?
Probably kicking the best goal that's ever been kicked on this oval against Matson a couple of years ago. I think I'm the only one that remembers it. That was a ripper. Ask Jigs.
Probably wasn't the best.
It was, 100%. It was the best.
Okay. What AFL play do you want to game on?
Oh, that's a tough one. I'd have to say Daniel Rupunda.
Rupunda?
Yeah, real low centre grab.
Yeah.
Type number.
I can see that, yeah. Yeah.
Maybe number.
Oh, no, nothing. Right, you got a celebrity crush?
It was Meghan Markle because I was watching Suits.
Yeah. And she's royal.
Yeah, she's gone now, so I don't have one.
You don't have one?
Nah,
Just waiting for it.
just waiting for like the right one.
Yeah, that's alright. Where did you want to go for a trip? You're going to Brisbane, but where did you want to go?
Jeez. Yeah, no, I don't know. Brisbane was good last year. I don't know. It's hard because we're in, I don't know, Greece.
So you've who at the club would you choose to kick after the siren? Do you think?
Oh, jeez, probably Wet.
Wet, yeah,
Just because
one
he
from one.
kicked it. Yeah, I remember at Masson he kicked that goal from the boundary. That one he was telling everyone about.
Yeah, good record.
And
yeah. Well, thanks for joining me, Lachlan.
That was a long 60 seconds.
Yeah.
Next guest is one of our star players in the reserves, Luke Kukuljan. Luke,
Podolczak,
welcome,
nice to talk to you.
welcome to the show, mate. First of all, we'll just talk about your football journey. Obviously, it was a lot different to some of the other boys at the club. Just tell us a little bit about your football journey, how you started playing football, mate.
So I started playing football when I was 18 years old, out of high school. Never played footy before, but wanted to give it a crack. So
not even like Auskick or?
Played Auskick when I was like 4 or 5 years old, but didn't actually play juniors at any level. And decided to come down and try play with the 18s when I was younger. And I've been playing the last 4 years and loving it.
Oh, that's good. Was there anyone down here that pulled you down just to Rupo, or was it just Rupo? It was all
just Rupo. I saw it on the Facebook page, and they said pre-season was starting, and I thought I'd try come down and give it a crack, and been loving it since.
No, perfect, mate. I'm glad to have you here. Obviously, this year has been a bit injury interrupted. Can you tell us about your injury this year, mate?
So injury this year was I broke my foot playing basketball, which probably shouldn't have been playing during the season, but sidelined me for 6 games, and got back on the track recently. So it's been good to get back around the boys, be around the club.
Oh, it's good to have you for the last part of the season, most important part, mate. Obviously, you watch AFL, watch local footy, or that. Do you have anyone who you model your game on?
I wouldn't say anyone in particular. It's definitely been interesting watching how Shugs and Shawnee go about playing footy. So,
what about someone in the AFL, mate?
Someone in the AFL that'd be no one in particular. Maybe a Fantasia, just a small forward who knows what they're doing. But Razio Fantasia,
so
like
his that speed, going through the game, breaking the lines.
Yeah, exactly. Line breaking power.
Position. Oh, that's good. Obviously, Pricey's put you around a few different positions this year, mate. You played back, you played forward, a bit of mid. What was your preferred position?
He's put me in the back line recently, and I've really enjoyed playing in the back line. It's interesting, shutting down an opponent and trying to run off them when you get the chance. So been enjoying it down there, and hope, see myself playing there a bit more often.
So you can see yourself playing there throughout the finals?
Yeah.
What about if Pricey goes to you, I want to put you in the forward line? What about that then?
You never say no to kicking a couple goals, do you?
Yeah, that's it. Who doesn't like a snag, eh?
Yeah.
Just talking about Pricey, obviously he's been helping you out this year, just with your skill work a little bit, just little things. Just tell us about that as well, mate.
Yeah, so I knew I wasn't the best, just field kick throughout the start of the season, and I just wanted to work on it a lot. So Price has said come down a bit earlier at the start of each training, and we'll work on that for 10 to 15 minutes. And I can notice it's improved a bit. It's just ball drop, learning how to handle it on the run, and being a bit more precise, which I've enjoyed.
Oh, that's beautiful, mate. Obviously, footy trip, you going this year?
I'll try to make it if I can. So
so heading up to Brisbane this year. Roommate, who would you least like, and who would you like to have be in the room with?
Most like, I'd say Grubby, DK. They're funny guys,
Yeah,
good to be around. Least like, I'd say Youngie, just because he can drop some serious bombs. Some stinkers in the locker room, so I don't imagine what he'd be like when he's on the piss.
Yeah, imagine that in a small room. It'd be nice. Obviously, Ripper have a big problem with fart bombs.
Yeah, apparently.
Welcome to the show for the first time, mate, for the year, and thanks for joining us as well.
Cheers, Podsy. Pleasure to be on the show.
Pinnacle Print Group, Platinum Partner of the Rupertwood Football Netball Club.
As mentioned earlier, the Rupo Bonanza is on this Saturday night, the 11th of August, with $8,000 in door prizes. See Muzza to secure your ticket, as they are extremely limited. An afternoon at Rupo is happening during the last home and away game on the 18th of August, commencing at 1:30 p.m. See the lovely Lauren for tickets, as tables are at a premium. Presentation night should be a ripper on the 21st of September at Luxor in Sydenham. See Lauren for your tickets to what will be also a ripper night again. After the final credits roll, stay tuned as we have a piece showing Villawood Properties, our major partner. Make sure you support all of our sponsors, as they are crucial to the survival of our great club. Okay, that's it from the tank for another week. Stick around for the RDFNL Footy and Netty shows with Tara and Yeendy.
Hey everyone, welcome down to Armstrong District Park. Today we've got Mitch Duncan and myself, Cam Guthrie, going through the Armstrong Ninja Cats obstacle course.
Mate, I hope you rehab that ankle all right, because mate, this could get quite tricky, but I think I might have him covered.
Looks like a good test. Let's go. Alright guys, round one of the Armstrong Ninja Cat. Mitch, how you feeling about it?
Yeah, hopefully we can tackle the Tower of Terror here.
Kids parks have changed a lot. I've never seen anything like this, so we'll see how we go. 3, 2, 1, go. Moving pretty well here, Mitch. Oh, he's a bit stuck there. More Pilates, I think.
I'm not that flexible. I'm aging. Should have worn bigger pants, I think.
Don't know if Scotty would like seeing you doing this, Mitch. You're a little bit high there.
I'm actually a bit scared here. Fun part. Oh, gee. Whoa. Here we go, mate. Tower of Terror. Give me your best shot. Go.
Still your line.
Oh no! What's he done? Oh, he's missed a few holes. Oh, he's redeemed himself.
You're right about the pants.
This is a bit scary, this part.
Oh. Buzzer! Oh.
I got done there by Cam. He moved like a ninja up the wall.
Very good.
He was yeah, too good for me, but we'll see how we go next one.
Hello and welcome to another big edition of the RDFNL Footy Show. Thanks to our friends at On Time Delivery Solutions. I'm joined by Tara Murray from the Star Weekly. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Now, we certainly had an intriguing round of footy over the weekend and really starting to see the ladder take shape, and maybe we'll see a bit of a grand finale in the race for the top 6. But let's turn our attention to one team that is going to have a big say in proceedings. That, of course, is the Riddle side, because we talk about Romsey and Wood and Heskett. The result involving Riddle and those two teams is going to determine who will make the top 6.
Well, that's it. We'll talk about Romsey Woodend later on, and obviously the race for finals is still alive and could go down to that final match. And Riddle plays both Romsey and Wood and Heskett in the last 2 rounds. So Riddle, and we know Riddle's on fire. So any team that can knock off Riddle, I think, deserves to play finals.
Yeah.
So you look at it this week. If Romsey does beat Riddle, that would just about seal up their top 6 spot. With Woodend obviously a game behind and playing Riddle in that final round. And I know that Romsey has one of the easier teams in the last round, so you've got that there. It's quite interesting. Riddle again on the weekend were brilliant against the Sunbury Kangaroos. As we're seeing, I think it's 10-11 weeks in a row now that they haven't lost since round 3, so definitely the form team of the competition, and they continue doing what they need to do.
Oh, the form they were on the weekend is going to make life very hard for those two teams to try and get a win over them in the next couple of weeks. But let's talk about that game. A 117-point win in favour of the Bombers. But I think the most impressive part of them is they actually got their goal kicking right up to scratch, kicking at about over 60%, which
about
is great.
66%, so it was 22. Oh, it was probably 22-11. So you've got that there, which is good. You had Hayden Ross kick 7 again. Looks like Hayden could quite easily take out the league goal kicking. So
he's done really well playing. He's drifted more around half forward and having limited stints in the midfield. So that's working well for them.
And that's what we've sort of seen the last few years. It's not your conventional goal kickers who will lead the goal kicking in the league. Obviously, we had Jason Cook last year, who not only won the goal kicking but won the Bowen medal as well. So you've got Hayden Ross there. He kicked 7 again. And you look at you had the two Lachlan Tarkson, who's come up. I think he's only played 2 senior games and he's kicked 8 in those 2 weeks. So you've got another young gun that is coming up through the sides. And I know the Bombers have been pretty big on that. on giving the youngsters a chance, and he's been given the opportunity, and his brother was named best on, so it was a good day for the Tarksons out there.
Certainly right there. Sunbury Kangaroos are probably a bit disappointing there, 3 goals, 8 on the board, but we're all about creating dreams here on RDFNL Footy TV, and we've been told that we need to create some dreams for an upcoming footy trip. So we're in a position where to make up for that horrendous performance, I mean, 3 goals against the powerhouse side, they could have done better than that. So let's punish them. We've got to dish out fines. Who are we going to get stuck into?
Well, a couple who wanted some players thrown under the bus was Skipper Gregors.
Yep, so
and
Dan Gregory,
Yes, I got told Ty that his name needed to be mentioned several times. He's running the footy trip money, so obviously you've got there, and look, they just want some more money for the footy trip. So obviously you look at it on the weekend, you had some of their younger stars were probably named your best. You had James O'Connor, who did play in the 19s first, was named as one of the best in the 19s, was then named the best in the seniors. You had Brenton Sutherland was another one, Matthew Wallace, Christian Monaco, Matthew Leonard and Julian Lasala were probably their best players on the weekend.
Yeah, so one of the things I'd like to focus on as well is James O'Connor. He did play in AFL Goldfield's Far North Queensland trip last year, and it's great to see him make that big step up to senior football. We've highlighted that over recent weeks about some of these kids that have gone on that Far North Queensland trip for AFL Goldfields that actually come back and played senior footy. It's great to see another product of that program be back playing senior footy, and not just playing in the team, but also playing some good footy.
Look, and James is one of those guys, he's played a few senior games this season, and I think he would have had a few more if the Sunbury Kangaroos had more under 19. So they have like numbers at the under 19 level at times, so James has had to come back to the under 19 side, which is coached by his dad as well. So he's done that, but it's showing that next generation, and obviously to be named in the best in 2 games on one day shows how talented a player it is.
Certainly a great one for the future. Now let's talk up the big game between the Hawks and the Redbacks. I don't think too many people would have tipped this sort of result. And if they had have tipped the Hawks to get over the Redbacks, not by the margin that eventuated.
Look, I know I did tip Romsey, and I went out to that game thinking, it would probably be the game of the round. And unfortunately, it was a one-sided one. Obviously, the Hawks were in front at half-time. They probably could have been further ahead because they hadn't put the pressure on the scoreboard despite having more shots. But after half-time, it was all the Hawks. They were pretty aggressive at the ball. They were first to the ball. Their tackling was really good, and they were getting the impact on the scoreboard. They had several different players up forward kicking goals. I think they had Dan Toman kick 3, Tom Wilson kick 3, Guthrie kick 4, and I think from what I was reading, it's the first win since 2008 for the Hawks over Romsey.
Wow, that is a long stretch. We're talking. That's the first win since 2008. I think it was the 2009 game is where Gary Moorcroft actually made his debut for the Redbacks against the Hawks, which got the Redbacks over the line to start the rot too. So and funnily enough, that was the streak started at Gilbert Gordon Oval. The streak ended at Gilbert Gordon Oval.
Yeah, and in the end it was pretty convincing. So Woodend needed that win. They had have lost, that was their finals hopes over. So look, it's going to be a tough run home for them, obviously playing Riddle in the final round, but they're still in with a shot. So obviously they play the footy they did against Romsey on the weekend, then they could be a fairly good shot against Riddle in that final round. Obviously they do have another match before that, but for them it's about getting over Rockbank this week. They'll probably want a big win percentage. I don't know whether we'll come into it in the run home.
It won't, because
obviously Romsey's got I think Romsey's got one of the lower sides in the last round.
And so do the Hawks have.
Hawks have Rockbank this week, so they're both likely to have big percentage boosters there. So they need to beat Riddle in that final round, but their finals hopes are still alive.
Now, a massive game over at Green Hill Reserve, a courageous one at that, Wallen taking down an inaccurate Diggers Rest side.
Look, I looked at the scores at one point and Diggers Rest was 0-8.
Yeah.
They didn't score a goal until late in that first half, and it's probably been a long time since we've seen Diggers Rest have a scoreline like that. So that was
even worse so that they didn't score in the first term and Wallen put 6 goals on the board.
Yeah, I think it was 39 points was the margin at quarter time. So you thought, this could be in for a big one, but then the Burrows hit back in that second half and they actually levelled the scores. I was following live scores while I was up at Woodend, and scores were level, but Woodend managed to get over the line. Wallen managed to get over the line, which is an important win in the scheme of things for finals. Obviously coming off an upset loss the week before, Wallen needed to bounce back, and it saw them jump back above Diggers Rest on the ladder.
Interesting too with Diggers Rest into the Breeze, with the Breeze, they kicked 1 goal 8 in the second term from 9 scoring shots, and in the final term they kicked 4 goals 5 from 9 scoring shots. So 18 scoring shots to one end of the ground for a return of 5 goals 13. That would be disappointing for them.
Well, yeah, and you look overall, it was 24 scoring shots to 17. And you lose by 3 points, so you could have quite easily got the win there from the Burrows if they had a kick straight. Even they kick 1 or 2 in that second quarter. reduces the margin going into half time and gives them a better launcher pad into that second half. So there'll be pretty disappointing performance there from the Burrows.
Great pressure there from the Pies. Congratulations to Broadford. They toasted their first win of season 2018, and even bigger congratulations to Sean Duggan celebrating his 200th game in style, and a fitting build-up to get a big game at home to celebrate this fantastic achievement, and then to come away with the first win of the season just adds to the extra celebrations. From all reports, the Broadford Hotel is still buzzing.
And look, and I think they were celebrating a milestone for Skip Bray as well. I'm not sure whether it was 200 combined coaching playing or coaching out there, but there was also 200 game milestone for Skip out there at Broadford. And look, they were playing Rockbank, and both of these teams would have taken a lot of confidence into this game, knowing they were the bottom two teams on the ladder. They'd be wanting to get the win, and it was sort of that third quarter that was the difference. I was talking to Lee McInerney, the coach of Rockbank, and he said it was only that 5 to 10 minutes in that third quarter Broadford managed to get the jump on them, and that was the difference in the end.
A simply magnificent performance. They're probably from both sides too. They really gave it a really good hard crack, and I think with Broadford they probably had that emotional build heading into that game, particularly given the milestones and a big crowd in attendance too.
And that's it. There was that emotional side as well, and there was always going to be that big build-up, which Rockbank knew was going to be there, and they tried to counter that, but unfortunately their consistency, which has been their issue all season, sort of hurt them again in that third quarter. And look, in the end, there's going to be a fight for that bottom spot. I think there's less than 1% between these two teams, so who finishes bottom could be quite interesting as well.
Exactly. Pride will definitely be on the line, so congratulations again to Broadford. Two other games to go through. We've got Rupert's Wood and Lansfield. The Sharks did a pretty comfortable job on the Tigers.
It is, and from what I can gather, Chambo took over the coaching reins. So
excellent.
Obviously Chambo's out injured at the moment, and he came out and he's got a winning streak to start with. But it was a pretty convincing win. It was sort of what we expected from the Sharks against the Tigers. They ended up having 43 scoring shots, and it was 91-2 at half time. So that sort of tells you that what the game was like all day. You had Todd Podolczak return to form. I think he probably played a little bit closer to forward. He has been moved up the ground at times this season. He kicked 8 goals. Plus you have Brent Swallow back as well. So that's a big boost for the Sharks as they head into finals to get one of those key 3 guys that they're missing back in the side.
And we had one of the young stars there from Lansfield, also one of the best, having a good stellar season.
Look, Riley O'Meara's probably been one of the Tigers' best this season, and probably one of their bright sparks. Obviously, I think he can still play under 17s.
Yep.
So, and he's still juggling those commitments as well. So it's good to see they're bringing some of those younger players through. Lansfield hasn't had those under 17s, under 19s, under those sort of teams for a few years. So they're starting to get those younger players coming through, and that's what they need for the club if they're going forward, that they need these players coming through.
Macedon comfortably and confidently took down at Mountain Centrals at home.
Yeah, no troubles at all there for the Cats. So obviously we were expecting them to bounce back after a disappointing loss, and they did that quite easy. There was no troubles at all. They led from the start, and Central's probably a little bit of a letdown. They'd come off 2 really, really good performances, and then they've only been able to kick 2 goals for the game, and Dylan Weir kicked both of them. So for the Cats, you had Aaron Johnston kicked 4 goals, and it was their class that really rose to the top, with Matthew Dick and Daniel Markworth named their best.
And Jason Cook back into the team, so a good handy addition heading into finals too.
It is. Obviously they'll definitely need him to play the next couple of weeks just to make sure he qualifies for finals. Obviously he's been overseas, probably in the warmer weather where most of us would have gone to.
Lapping it up with the World Cup soccer.
It is. So obviously he's back, and that's a bonus for them. He's someone they didn't pencil into their side at the start of the year. Obviously he came back from St Albans midway through the season, so he's a bonus for them, and it probably adds a little bit of an X factor come finals. You're probably not going to have the same goal kicker as you did last season. They've built different sides with different options, but if you can get him in, and he could kick 3 or 4 in one game, and he could turn a game in the favour of the Cats.
Centrals really couldn't take a trick too, because when Cookie did play his first game for season 2018 with Macedon, it was also against Mountain Centrals. Then he disappeared for a little while, and then his comeback game was against Mountain Centrals as well. So that's just the way the fixtures sort of pan out, and a bit of bad luck there for the Centrals. There's not so much you could do to sort of combat that.
Exactly. There's not much when players come back in and time in and that sort of thing. But in the end, even without Cookie, I think the Cats would have still been too strong. So it was for the Cats, it keeps that pressure on those top 4 sides, because they had dropped a couple of matches that they did slip a little bit.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll see how things sort of shape up over the next few weeks. Tara, thanks so much for joining us this week, and we look forward to catching up with you later on.
Thanks for having me.